the 15th day of the month of May. A very good evening wherever you are. Thank you so much for watching Imani Television. Welcome to News Hour. We have a lot lined up for you, including the President's plan to double the value-added tax, also known as VAT, from 8% to 16%. We have news about security status in the country, and later on we will be having health news among other stories. But for now, let's take a look at what made news in our country today.
This 8% that we are adding is going to give us about 50 billion shillings. It will begin to deal with the problem of roads across the country.
Na hiyo shida ya kahawa na bei iko kila pahali. Kwa hivyo Rais William Ruto alinipatia jukumu la kutafuta suluhisho.
Crime and threats that include violent extremism, organized crime, irregular migration, transnational terrorism, and other related security concerns.
What we've been doing today is building the capacity for journalists, for them to be able to go out there and write stories, do feature stories, and even do enough awareness to the people.
Today to can launch even another ambulance, ile Beyond Zero clinic, mobile clinic, tumeifufua.
If the meeting inspectors are there, why are they not giving these documents? And if they are not there, then why can't we have them? Stop.
Broadcast. My name is BARASA SAENYI. Our sign language interpreter is Phyllis Mirikwa Arunga. Now, President William Ruto has defended his government's plan to increase the value-added tax, also known as VAT, from the current 8% to 16%, among other taxes, as stipulated in the financial bill of 2023. According to the President, this will increase revenue collection and the percentage of GDP from the current 14% to at least 16% GDP, with a nominal figure set to increase to 2.8 trillion shillings. Let's take a look.
We're going to increase the VAT by 8% for two reasons. Number one, because having differential rates, one at 8%, others at 16%, poses a problem, an integrity problem. People use it as a loophole to manipulate numbers, VAT in, VAT out. So the advice that my economic team working with Treasury gave was we must eliminate this loophole that people are exploiting, number one. Number two, this 8% that we are adding is going to give us about 50 billion shillings. It will begin to deal with the problem of roads across the country.
Okay.
But what have I done to balance it out? Because I made a commitment that we need to relook, right? I have removed on the same fuel, as we add 8%, I have removed road 3.5% road development levy from fuel. I have removed 2% of IDF on the same fuel. And to balance it out, because it is the same Kenyan who is going to pay from their pocket, I have removed VAT 8% on gas. And I have removed other taxes that I'm going to explain to you, about 14 other taxes that I have removed to try and even so that we have a balanced budget.
Okay. And moving forward, stakeholders in the coffee sector are expected to convene for a 3-day meeting to deliberate on far-reaching reforms that will turn around the fortunes of the cash crop farmers. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, detailing the focus of the conference, says that the government is committed to revitalizing the sector to benefit farmers. The second in command confirmed the meeting which scheduled to take place on 6th to 8th of June this year in Meru, with a focus to find a long-lasting solution to the challenges affecting coffee sector.
That we shall get a solution. How our farmers can get prices that is commensurate to their labor and their effort. Weka kikao cha stakeholders wote wa kahawa katika Jamhuri ya Kenya, huko Meru, tariki 6, tariki 7 na tariki 8. Na hiyo shida ya kahawa na bei iko kila pahali. Kwa hivyo Rais William Ruto alinipatia jukumu la kutafuta suluhisho ya mkulima wa kahawa. Mambo ya kahawa, kesho nitakuwa na Vice President wa Colombia. Nimemwalika hapa Kenya akuje tuongee mambo ya kahawa, kwa sababu hawa wamefaulu sana. Bei yao iko sawa. Tutaongea na magavana tujue kati ya serikali kuu na serikali za ugatuzi tutasaidiana vipi mambo ya screening. Tumepoteza watu wengi sana na familia nyingi zimewachwa kwa matatizo.
Now, the Vice President of Colombia, Francia Elena, has arrived in the country for an official 3-day visit aimed at strengthening the existing relationship between Kenya and the country. This visit is expected to enhance trade and promote exchanges in various mutually beneficial fields. The visit follows a memorandum of understanding on political consultations signed by both countries in 2021, with the main objective of further enhancing cooperation between Kenya and Colombia. All right, we move forward, and residents of West Pokot County are eagerly anticipating the positive impact that will result from the relaunch of the Beyond Zero clinic by the county government. The clinic, initially established by former First Lady Margaret Kenyatta, is set to bring about significant improvements in healthcare services. Its primary goals include preventing severe diseases and reducing fatalities within the county borders and surrounding areas. Under the leadership of Governor Simon Kachapin, this project aims to enhance the overall well-being of the community by ensuring accessible and high-quality healthcare services for all.
Najua kuna shida ya magari, tahakikisha tutaempower Chapareria, tutaempower all these sub counties. Kuna gari za utility, hivi karibuni we shall make that arrangement. And that's why unaona today to launch even another ambulance, ile Beyond Zero clinic, mobile clinic tumeifufua, so to replace those parts yote. It is working, so na more of us things will come, and that's why I'm going to Nairobi now.
Now, the government of Kenya and the Republic of Somalia have agreed to reopen the boundaries between the two countries. This has been announced by Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki, who held a meeting with the delegation from Somalia led by Somalia Minister of Internal Security Mohamed Sheikh Ali, Foreign Affairs Minister Abshir Omar Jama, and Defense Minister Abdikadir Mohammed. Among the issues discussed is the reopening of the border between Kenya and Somalia, which will be done in a phase in 90 days effective today. The first phase will be Mandera Bunahawa border point, which will be reopened in the next 30 days. The second phase border point will be in the next 60 days, and that is the Liboi Alha Dobli, and 90 days from today the third border point will be opened, and that is Kiunga Raskamboni in Lamu County.
I am glad to report that a high-level ministerial meeting was successfully held between the two countries to appreciate the challenges posed by cross-border crime and threats that include violent extremism, organized crime, irregular migration, transnational terrorism, and other related security concerns. The deliberations noted the need to enhance cooperation and partnership between our two brotherly neighboring countries, purpose to address the challenges to foster regional integration. The government of Kenya and the government of Somalia both recognize and commends the complementary role played by development partners in the fight against terror, violent extremism, cross-border organized crime, in addition to value addition to efforts to maintain peace and security in this region. We wish to affirm our commitment as the government of Kenya of our continuous engagement with our development partners to ensure that our common objective of safety for all our people, communities, and the world at large is achieved.
The federal government of Somalia is committed to promote and strengthen cooperation with its neighbors to improve security, regulate migration frameworks, facilitate trade and investment. On July and September last year, the two presidents of Somalia announcing the strengthening of bilateral relations between the two countries and emphasizing the commitment.
Let's take a look at some other news where the Media Council of Kenya, that is MCK, in conjunction with NACADA, have conducted a sensitization workshop to journalists from Nyeri County on how to report effectively on matters drugs and alcohol abuse. The sessions comes just days after NACADA released its report on drug and alcohol prevalence in the country.
Where we have been engaging with journalists from Nyeri County. This is an initiative that we have partnered with NACADA. Remember, the government, through the office of the deputy governor, the deputy president rather, launched a campaign to fight illicit alcohol and drug abuse across the country. Our emphasis today has been trying to raise the awareness for journalists. What we've been doing today is building the capacity for journalists, for them to be able to go out there and write stories, do feature stories, and even do enough awareness to the people. Because we have to understand that the minute we raise the awareness, the minute we build the capacity of our journalists, they will be able to report on these matters much better. Another thing that we have done today is also inform the journalists themselves on how they themselves can deter themselves from falling a victim to alcohol and drug abuse. Our journalists are engaged in everyday activity. They cover accidents, they cover riots. Right now we have our journalists at the coast that are covering the exhumation of bodies. Journalists every other day face a lot of mental pressures. It is important for them to also remember, even with these mental pressures, that they should not fall victim to alcohol and drug abuse. And the forum today that we have done has been able to.
All right, now on to this developing story. A Mombasa court has decided that the bank and television accounts of Pastor Ezekiel Odero of the New Life Church will remain closed. Judge Olga Sewe has agreed with the last week's decision given by the Nairobi High Court on the issue. The court said that more than 15 accounts and the television of preacher Ezekiel will remain closed until the investigations about the case facing him is completed. The preacher's lawyers have been asked to submit their complaints about the decision to the High Court in Milimani, Nairobi, and in addition to that, Judge Sewe has said that Ezekiel's church can continue with its activities and services. We'll be getting back to that story after a short while. And moving forward, let's go to Makueni County, where Governor Mutula Kilonzo Jr. and Kilungu Sub-County Deputy Commissioner Jane Katuse have asked the management of the Salvation Army Church in the Kilungu area to suspend one of the pastors of the church who is facing a case of raping an 8th grade girl. Wow, this story was done by our very own Halan Emodia.
speaking at the ceremony to give gifts to students who performed well in Kilungu area. The governor of Makueni, Mutula Kilonzo, has expressed his disappointment of a pastor who is facing of raping an 8th grade girl at the end of last.
Mtu ambaye amemnajisi msichana wa shule should not be given a bail of 150,000 alafu anatembea huku like a bull. It's not fair. DCC, you should recommend that person should not conduct a marriage, a burial, or anything else until he is proved that he is innocent.
The governor's statement is accompanied by that of the deputy commissioner of the area, Jen Katusi, who said that the pastor to continue to serve is not appropriate, asking him to leave the office church for a while until the case against him is completed.
Kwa hivyo natumana kwa hiyo kanisa. I will also talk to the leaders of that church, tuone vile watatuondolea huyo mtu. Kama ako innocent atarudishwa, lakini kwa sasa atuondokee.
All right. Members of the Environmental Committee in the Narok County Assembly held a productive meeting with the management of Transmara Sugar Company and Kilimapesa Company in the Lolgorian area to assess allegations of environmental pollution. Speaking at the Enosain location, the committee chairperson Leah Naikaine hinted that the representatives of both companies have openly addressed the claims and the committee is satisfied with the performance of these companies. The committee members are calling upon the leaders of Transmara Sugar Company and Kilimapesa Company to actively engage and educate the residents on environmental conservation while also providing increased employment opportunities for the local workforce. The committee is now expected to compile a comprehensive report for submission to the Narok County Assembly. Let's take a look.
At the gathering, Leana Kenai, the esteemed chairperson of the committee, expressed that the representative from both companies displayed a transparent and cooperative approach while addressing the allegations. Their comprehensive explanation and assurance regarding their commitment to environmental responsibility left the committee members satisfied with their efforts. In addition to discussing environmental concerns, the committee emphasized the significance of these companies positively impacting the local community.
We have also contributed to...
We are happy to see we have accompanied them yesterday to Kilimapesa, and we are here now at Mara Sugar. Basically what we came to see is in as much as we're welcoming the industries in our neighborhoods, we wanted also to see that they are environmentally friendly, and then issues that will not affect the livelihood of the residents and also the employees.
They called upon the leadership of Transmara Sugar Company and M. Lima Pesa Company to actively engage and educate the residents on environmental conservation while also providing increased environmental opportunities for the local workforce.
We are happy that this company has actually employed close to 500 locals. They have also engaged on development initiative across the ward and across the sub-county, and we are happy of what they are actually doing. And as a committee, we stand by that.
The diligent environmental committee is now on the process of compiling a comprehensive report that encapsulates their findings, observation, and recommendations. This detailed report will be presented to the esteemed Narok County Assembly, where it will serve as a vital resource for informed decision-making and further actions to safeguard the environment and the well-being of the local populace. Reporting for Imani Television, Shilo Jedida.
All right, thank you so much, Shilo, for that story. And in a gathering organized in the Jali area of Mombasa County by the Tajilangu organization in collaboration with Wellcare Hospital, the community has been urged not to isolate young girls who become mothers at a tender age, but instead empower them to meet the needs of their families. The event was held to celebrate the resilience of young mothers and acknowledge their journey in parenthood. During the gathering, emphasis was placed on the importance of societal acceptance and support for these parents who often find themselves overwhelmed with the responsibilities of raising a child at a tender age. The community was encouraged to embrace and uplift these parents, recognizing their efforts and providing them with the necessary resources and support systems by offering guidance, education, and access to opportunities. The goal is to ensure that these young girls and these young mothers can navigate the challenges they face and provide a nurturing environment for their children.
So hiyo wakati ilinifanya mpaka mimi nikapitia maisha magumu sana, nikiwa na mimba yangu na mtoto wangu, nikiwa no parents, no friends, hakuna mtu ambaye alikuwa ananihitaji kipindi hicho. Nikaenda kwa marafiki wananiambia Masi niko busy, mimi nataka kusoma. Nikaenda kwa mtu ambaye anaweza nisaidia, wote walinikataa. Nilijikuta kwenye street na mtoto na mimba, ilikuwa na miezi miwili. Nikasema Mungu, sitakata tamaa.
Ujijue baada ya kuwa mama, what next? Sio kwamba basi wewe umekuwa ni young mother, sasa yote upite ukihurumiwa tu, ukilindwa tu. Ni young mother ako vulnerable. Hapana. Kuna sababu kwa nini Mungu amekupatia wewe hii nafasi ya kuwa mama. Kwa hivyo ibebe vizuri, jivunie na uitambue nafasi yako katika jamii.
I want when you get married, you're equal. Equal. Ukitaka kutoka, tuangalie watoto pamoja.
Anapata ule msongamano wa mawazo, lakini sisi kama Taji saizi mambo ni innovation na digitali imetusaidia sana. Tumeshikana na mashirika wengine na tunawapatia motivation hawa kina dada. Tuko na ile session ya mentoring, tunawafunza jinsi ya ku take care their mental side, jinsi ya kujiempower wao wenyewe kama kina mama, kwa sababu changamoto nyingi ni umaskini.
We have postpartum depression that is normally after giving birth. In our cultural setting, we ignore that, and it is very key because if it is not addressed immediately, it can escalate to other things like to curbing such cases of depression, postpartum, and even just some emotional anxiety.
Kama we kama ni mama, usikate tamaa siku zote. Nimepata mimba, usitoe mtoto ili uhai wako ukatoka. Unaweza pambana ukafika kama mimi. Sasa mimi niko na networking, ninafanya kazi na mashirika tofauti.
All right, still revolving around mothers. Mothers have been encouraged to be at the forefront of efforts to restore damaged forests as well as preserve the environment in this country. Speaking in the area of Kobujoi in Nandi County on the occasion to celebrate International Mother's Day, those who live near the forest were inspired about the importance of planting bamboo trees in their fields and even in the government forest to take care of water sources and also to develop them commercially due to the benefit of the trees. Let's listen in.
Naweza kufanya conservation ya environment. Naweza tunza miti ili nchi yetu ikae vizuri. Leo mimi kama mama nasherehekea maisha ya Mathare Wangai. She was a hero and I could like to be a hero like her because ali fight for the conservation of the environment.
Sasa wamama watakuwa mstari wa mbele kuchunga forest. Na tumefurahia. Unajua tukichunga forest kama wamama tunajua umuhimu wa forest. Forest iko na kazi mingi. Hiyo miti yenye tumepanda itatusaidia kwa hewa, inatusaidia kwa kuchunga mito, chemchemi za mito, inatusaidia tukipanda kwa mashamba zetu udongo haitachukuliwa na maji.
We have brought these women together so that we can sensitize on the presidential directive on conservation of the environment. So we are driving onto the theme of environmental conservation as we are sensitizing women today and mothers today to plant trees. Therefore, we are sensitizing people to maintain our forest and as well.
All right, and to other matters. The issue of livestock theft is increasingly troubling the security chiefs and leaders in the pastoral community counties. The Union of Veterinary Doctors in Africa says that the issue is not only a security issue. Doctors saying that devolved governments should also be blamed for failing to implement policies to control the sector, such as hiring experts and livestock inspectors, as well as issuing certificates to allow the export of livestock and meat. Let's listen in.
Livestock theft is with us not because of a security issue. it is actually because of the collapse of veterinary services. If you look at livestock in the farm, the veterinarians are there. We need to ask ourselves, do we have veterinary services in the counties? We need to ask ourselves, do we have slaughterhouses? And who owns those slaughterhouses? We can be talking of controlling livestock theft, yet there are people who own slaughterhouses that are not registered who are involved in livestock theft. Meat inspectors receive animals in their slaughterhouses and they give documents for animals to move, for meat to be transported. If the meat inspectors are there, why are they not giving these documents? And if they are not there, then why can't we have them? Stolen animals can only be identified, one, by the owner, if he moves and he finds it. Number two, veterinary services are able to identify stolen animals. If you take your animal to a slaughterhouse, the veterinarian there, the inspector there, will be able to look at the document and tell you this document is not genuine, and therefore identify it as stolen.
Sisi tumepoteza mfugo mingi sana sababu ya wizi, inaibiwa, inachukuliwa, hata kufuatilia na kutafuta unakosa kabisa. Lakini hao maofisa ya veterinary sasa wakianza sasa hiyo mradi ambayo sasa wanaangalia, ananipatia barua kuonesha hii ng'ombe yangu inachinjwa, ananipatia barua ya kupeleka, itamaliza wizi katika kaunti ya Samburu.
Yaani mnyama akienda kuchinjwa huko katika tuseme mahali pa kuchinjia, kuwe tunafuata sheria ya madaktari.
All right, that's the end of our bulletin tonight, and remember that malaria remains to be a public health problem in Kenya despite several concerted control efforts. Empirical evidence regarding malaria effects in Kenya suggests that the disease imposes substantial economic cost, jeopardizing the achievement of sustainable development goals. The Kenya Malaria Strategy for the year 2019 and 2023, which is currently being implemented, is one of the several sequential malaria control and elimination strategies. The strategy targets to reduce malaria incidences and deaths by 75% of the 2016 levels by 2023 through spending around Kenya shillings 61 billions over 5 years. You can join our discussion about malaria right after this bulletin, where Dr. Robert Nyandika will be demystifying some factors about malaria in a very insightful way. Watch Health, Hygiene and Wellness, that is coming to you right after this bulletin, and remember to leave a feedback where you are watching us from. This is the end of News Hour. This evening, keep watching Imani Television for more spiritual awakening programs. My name is Barasa SAENYI, and Phyllis Mirikwa Arunga has been our sign language interpreter. Have a good night.